It's the Exit 52 podcast presented by Jimmy's Seafood. And while I would start with some pithy, half comedic bit at the beginning of the show, I don't think we can. It's solemn times, gentlemen. Coolio passing away at 59. We were just chatting about it right before we came on. I thought it would be proper to give Coolio his deserved send-off. Gangsta's Paradise, the Keenan and Kel theme song, so many others. This is not sarcastic at all. Coolio. I mean, Coolio had a great run on the 90s, and I feel like, you know, as we were coming of age, he was kind of one of the guys there from a rap perspective that was, you know, doing his thing. So RIP to Coolio. Any Coolio thoughts?
The hair. Gotta talk about the hair. The hair was maybe the best part about him. I mean, obviously Gangsta's Paradise and the music video and all that. Someone said that no song encapsulates a movie that it was made for, except for maybe Lose Yourself, than Gangsta's Paradise.
But Phil Collins and Tarzan. I mean, just throw that one out there. Classic.
That is a really good song.
That was our 5th grade graduation song, and we sang it to the parents, and every parent cried. I'm sure also every school did that.
I mean, his name's Coolio. Say no more, fam. Coolio.
What about I Will Always Love You from The Bodyguard? Or is that just an all-time song? Not in.
I think all-time song. I don't think I ever saw the movie. I also refuse to.
Didn't see that one.
That's an amazing song. An amazing song.
It's also a cover.
I was trying to think of any other good examples of what you just brought up. Like what song just fits in right with the movie? That is I mean, the Gangsta's Paradise. And then we did talk about it. Amish Paradise. It also spawned one of the great Weird Al Yankovic parodies, which I think if you're Coolio or you're Chameleonaire or you're someone that has put out a great single and also spawned an awesome Weird Al parody of it, I think that's a boon on your career. Like,
it's a badge of honor.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What about See You Again for Fast 7? You hate the Fast and Furious series. It's kind of sad. The only other one, what about Staying Alive for Saturday Night Fever? That's got to be in there.
Banger of a song. Again, I don't think I ever saw the movie. Yeah.
Eye the Tiger, Rocky 3.
That's up there.
Titanic, Heart Will Go On.
People forget that that's not from the first Rocky.
They do forget. They very much forget that. That couldn't be less from the first Rocky. The first Rocky is a very good movie. It's also like a very plotting, slow movie, like drama. And then they kind of the rest of the movies are kind of almost like pick up like action movies a little bit at times.
Boxing is almost secondary in that first movie.
Correct. And then it becomes kind of more.
It's a plot device.
What's the montage for Rocky 1? Isn't it the
it's the classic montage. Gonna Fly Now.
Hearts on Fire is Rocky.
No, Hearts
4.
on Fire is Rocky 4. Hearts on Fire is Rocky 4.
That's
also a banger.
Siberia. I mean,
yeah,
couldn't be more Siberia.
Yeah. Hearts on Fire is once they're just like really stretching out the music for those movies. Mm-hmm. The first Rocky is the classic. It's the Gonna Fly Now, the first Gonna Fly Now. Then the Gonna Fly Now kind of picks up with a little more of like a California version in Rocky 3 when he trains with Apollo. And then Rocky 4, Hearts on Fire is a jam. There's a lot of good music in Rocky 4. There's also great music in the Creed movies as well.
I'm not the biggest fan of the movie, but the Space Jam song for Space Jam.
You're not the biggest fan of the first Space Jam?
Space Jam's a great movie.
I think it's a fine movie.
Oh, this is.
I don't know what the knock is on Space Jam.
I would like to know the critique here.
I don't know. It just never really struck with me like it struck with other kids. But again,
were you a miserable child, or what was your situation there?
No, I had a very wonderful childhood. But the song, that's what I'm talking about. The song with the movie.
I'm a little speechless about you saying that's just like a fine movie when you're a kid. That's a stunning take that I'm shocked does not come up.
I'll be honest, your credibility on the Coolio discussion in the 90s is kind of taking a hit here.
What do you mean?
Where I thought you were going to go there is you were going to go heel and just say LeBron's version of Space Jam was better.
I've said that multiple times, but that's just more of as a troll move.
Okay, good. If
I
that
thought it
better
was
be
fine. I thought both movies were fine.
The second movie stinks. The first movie is
I
good.
don't think it stinks. It's more of a family movie.
It stinks.
I don't think so.
Wow.
What does that even mean? It's more of a family movie. What's the first Space Jam isn't?
Yeah, if it's the first Space Jam movie like The Godfather, like what are you talking about?
No, no, because it's more
It's
about
just a crutch. It's just a
it's more about
a way of saying it had nothing more to offer.
No, he's talking about it's basically talking about his kids in real life. He's basically talking about Bronny and with Maximus or whatever his name is. Jordan.
The scene where the guys try to get their powers back essentially and go through, and Charles Barkley's like in the mental hospital. That is, and he's like out on the court.
Sean Bradley and
5 foot
Muggsy
nothing.
Bogues.
Block my shot. Maybe it wasn't a dream. It wasn't a dream. It really happened. And then it just says maybe that's why he can't sleep at night. That is an unbelievable scene, and that's just one scene in the movie.
I also haven't seen the movie in like
Larry's
20
not
years,
Larry's not white. Larry's clear. I mean, there's a lot of good lines in that movie.
That is a funny line. Yeah.
And then you have all the Looney Tunes. Some good Looney Tunes back and forth. That's just a bad take. That might be the worst take you've ever thrown out on this show.
That the movie was fine.
Yeah. It's just a good.
I'm not shitting
movie.
on it. I'm not like giving it 2 thumbs down.
It's awesome nostalgia as well.
We'll underselling it.
Yeah, we'll move past that, but I'll allow the listeners to flame you on that one. We're coming off of Ravens win over the Patriots. Lots to get to here. We'll get to Ravens. We'll get to Orioles. We have a starting 5 of sports slang, sports lingo. I think it was what we settled on. So we have that coming up as well. Let's start with the Baltimore Ravens. As I said, win over the New England Patriots. Go back to our instant analysis from Sunday to get the full rundown of that ball game from Banks and RDT, because at that point I had not watched the game. The Ravens now move into, I would say, the measuring stick of the early part of the season as they host the Buffalo Bills on Sunday at 1:00. And we finish the run through the AFC East here to start the year. Let's put a bow on Ravens Patriots. Obviously there wasn't much for me to say on Sunday because I hadn't watched the game. I feel like my overall thought is, though, coming out of it is it's always going to be tough to beat the Patriots in Foxborough. And so some of the struggles to me are not as concerning. We need the defense to play much better this weekend to beat the Bills, but I'm almost just happy to have gone into New England and gotten out of there with the win. The Ravens had never beaten the Patriots there in the regular season. Obviously done it a few times in the playoffs, but had never gone there and beat them in the regular season. So to do that after what happened last week, great bounce back. I don't know if we emphasized that enough during the instant analysis, because we were talking about, play to play, drive to drive type of stuff, but good bounce back win for the guys to go on the road and beat a team that's hard to beat. That's normally well coached. And that's got a defense that was supposed to be pretty solid. We didn't even talk about Matt Judon and that whole thing at all, but so good win. That would be my kind of closing thought on that, but I don't know what your guys' thoughts are reflecting back, 72 hours later, essentially.
Matt Judon got put on his keister a few times. Patrick Ricard was a wrecking ball all day. And we talked about Nick Boyle a little bit going into the game. I know I talked about it with Bobby Trossett. I did a little pregame stream with him. Nick Boyle only played 4 snaps, but we had attitude back in our run game as if he was on the field the whole time. Ricard was just a wrecking ball going through the middle, setting up blocks on the edge, and Lamar was able to have his way on the ground in a way that we haven't really seen him have hardly at all, other than that big touchdown run that he had when obviously Miami just kind of challenged him at the line of scrimmage and said, hey, if you run past us, you run past us. Really encouraging sign to see. I feel like in these instant analysis, we take a bit to touch on Lamar, and then we just kind of say our thing about him when he plays a great game. We just kind of move on instead of like really just stay there and appreciate just how good this guy's been for 3 games so far. And it's reminiscent, and people are all over the place are making the comparisons with him and the 2019 version of Lamar Jackson. And they're also using Jalen Hurts now as comparing him to 2019 Lamar Jackson, not really comparing the two at the moment, which is a little interesting. But he played just just a phenomenal game. Like PFF and all these different metrics and EPA per play, like across the board, he's playing as probably the best quarterback in the league. Um, Adding the rushing yards on top of it. He's the MVP through 3 weeks, but I don't want to start that conversation yet until he goes and wins a big game like this weekend. I think I am apprehensive to say the Ravens are, back and they're Super Bowl contenders or what have you, till they go and beat a great team like the Bills potentially this weekend. Um, and that's where I think I'm just on hold until we see that happen on Sunday, and then it's off to the races with expectations for me. If we are able to win as 3.5 point dogs at home here.
I would agree. I mean, the Lamar run has been tremendous so far. Leading the league in passer rating, 100 yards the last 2 weeks on the ground. You said it all. And the eye test has been, cool and composed. There's smarter football people out there than me that you can find, like our friend Spencer, who can break down, how good he's been both under center and in the shotgun and developing as a passer, and all that type of stuff is there if you really want to deep dive on it. But this is a huge game. I mean, this is a Sunday night football game if this doesn't align with Mahomes versus Brady. And it's potentially the two marquee young quarterbacks in the league in whatever order you want to say them in. Besides Mahomes, who's obviously, playing Brady on Sunday night. I think that, a lot is going to be made about the Ravens defense this week and shutting down Josh Allen and Stephon Diggs and all these different guys. But as you said, Banks, I mean, this is a performance that if Lamar Jackson can come out and right some wrongs from, it won't totally right it from the playoff game a couple of years ago, in Buffalo, where he really, really struggled for a lot of that game. But if he can come out and put together another one of these performances against, the odds-on favorite in the AFC and outduel Josh Allen, as you said, I think that's when the MVP narrative truly starts. Because that's a marker of a game. It's a game that everyone's going to be watching. And he might have to put up 40 plus points in this game, depending on what kind of Ravens defense shows up. And it's a Bills defense that's certainly not bad and has a lot of guys on that side that can really play. So that's going to be a tough task, but he's going to need help. I think the Ravens are really going to need their running backs, whether it's Justice Hill, whether it's maybe a game under his belt, J.K. Dobbins, to give Lamar some help in this game on the ground. I don't think they can win this game again with their running backs not giving them more than they've given the last 3 weeks. I feel like I said that every week, but you're right. This is certainly an early marker where the Ravens can really make a statement as an AFC contender if they can win this game at home. And I don't think I have to say this. The place is going to be on fire. I mean, it's absolutely going to be on fire. And so the Ravens really need to, especially after what happened at home 2 weeks ago, really have to come out and protect the bank this week. That's the most simple way to say it. Like, you got to win your home games. But when you bring teams in your building that you're maybe going to see later down the road in bigger games, you got to take care of them, hopefully take care of them in this spot. And this is going to be a tough game. I mean, this is going to be, I'm just excited to watch the football game. It's two offenses that, if they're humming, could be just back and forth fireworks. So it should be fun.
No, I think one of the big factors, and this is going to develop as the week goes on, is we got this tropical storm that's kind of looming. It's kind of coming into the area. We're going to catch the remnants of it a little bit. And we could get like a really ugly, windy, rainy football game. We had all that wind up in Buffalo in the playoffs a couple of years ago. That played a huge part in a game that, you look at the two rosters, it probably should favor us, and we didn't come ahead in that one. It's, the over-under is like 52, but that's going to start dropping. It's going to turn it into a potential ground game, and it just goes to show how important these running backs are going to have to be for us to, we need to take that next step forward at the right time. Now, the Bills are not running the football well at all in their own right. So it could turn into a bit of a rock fight. We'll see how the two teams kind of deal with it, how they try to take shots downfield, because the shots are going to be there either way. It's a matter of whether you're going to be able to complete them and take advantage of them. So that's just something I'm monitoring as the week goes on, and I think a lot of people will be too.
Well, Also, I mean, it may resemble that. What was it? The week 1 game, 2018 versus the Bills. Remember when the Ravens won what 47? Not the teams,
Yeah.
but the weather. I mean, it was a disgusting game. Wasn't that the opening week?
I don't remember the weather being weird for that one,
Oh,
but I remember
I think it was like a
smoking them.
disgustingly gross downpour. I believe so. Yeah, because it was like, what is it, 44-3 or something, or like
It was something like that.
that was the Nathan
I
Peterman.
remember Nathan Peterman came in.
And who's the running back who broke his leg and got arrested near the he got arrested near the facility with weed, I think. Alex Collins.
Was that have anything to do with that game?
I think he was the Ravens starting running back that game. Like that's because I just remember being like, oh, it's gonna pour. I have to pick him in all these fantasies, and he was awful. It was really bad.
I don't know. Maybe it was that season. I don't know.
Think so.
When I think of just gross football games and I think about two great teams going at it, I think about Ravens 49ers from 2019.
Yeah, I do.
Was,
I recall that.
JT with maybe a 48-yarder or so in the rain at the buzzer. So just could be a weird one. Could be a big, middle of the field between the seams, tight ends playing a big part, and that plays into our favor. So yeah, I'm excited to see this team face some adversity because I think back to that game in 2020 in Buffalo and how the weather kind of affected that one. JT literally had a kick that went through the uprights and blew back out. Just I can never stop talking about that. It's one of the most fascinating things I've ever seen in my life. This team is going to have to win in some gnarly weather probably in January and February, and this is an opportunity to get better at it.
Real quick, I think it was Glenn Clark who asked this question, and it's a very interesting question. He said, who would you rather have on your team, Mark Andrews or Stephon Diggs?
It's tough to ask that in a vacuum because on the Ravens, you would rather have Mark Andrews
throwing the ball.
And if I'm the Bills, I like how my offense works with Stephon Diggs. So, I mean, I'm biased. I love Stephon Diggs, so I would rather have Stephon Diggs. Really, just almost for the content on the Ravens. Just be unbelievable interactions.
Do you hate type 1 diabetics? Is that what people are saying?
For the Turfs? Is that what people are saying?
Yeah,
about me.
That's what
already.
Like.
Yeah, I'm already hearing it out the window here.
I had not heard that. I'll have to address that publicly tomorrow. I think I need to go talk with my people before I
You have the opportunity to address it now.
No, I like type 1 diabetics. I always have. I've always said that.
So you show favoritism towards type 1 diabetics.
I don't show favoritism towards anybody except for Taylor Swift.
Okay. That's a good point.
And my family.
And my real
sure no one's ever had that transition in the history of podcasting. I think I would take Stephon. I just don't think it would be interesting to see what Stephon Diggs and Lamar Jackson were as a team. I think that's more interesting than Mark Andrews and Josh Allen, but I just think everybody was with Lamar Jackson is interesting. And I love this is not to totally roll over your question here and you guys can answer. I love Josh Allen. I love watching him play. I think he's tough. I think he's a good leader. I think his teammates really like him. It's so awesome that he's ended up on the Bills, which is a team that has just yearned for. Diggs is almost the same way, that has just yearned for stars, and they have two just absolute stars. Like those guys are, box office, the way they play, the way they carry themselves, the way they perform in big games.
Their friendship together too.
Their friendship together. It's just like Buffalo is a hard team to root against I think we've talked about this before. It's like a hard team to root against as an AFC rival because you're so happy. Baltimore and Buffalo, it's almost like you're smaller market teams that really like embrace it. And Buffalo doesn't even they have the Sabres, but I think, I don't know, Baltimore cares more about the Orioles than maybe Buffalo cares about the Sabres. I'm just saying that totally out of pocket, but the Bills just seems like a religion there. And I just think Josh Allen has totally bought into that. He's just going to play there forever. It's kind of cool. So I just love watching him play. And that's why if I was a neutral, this is the game of if I was a neutral, this is more of the game of the week to me than Brady Mahomes. This is just, I'd rather turn this game on and watch these two guys go back and forth. But to answer your question, I would take Diggs. I don't know what you guys would say.
I think Eric posed the question or said the piece perfectly. It's if you got Lamar, it's Andrews, work the middle of the field, the seams, all those things that he has to offer, and an offense that operates under two tight ends, all those types of things. And yeah, I mean, in a vacuum, like name just like the most baseline quarterback you can think of.
Ryan Tannehill.
That's true.
Yeah.
No,
yeah.
the answer is Kirk Cousins.
That's probably Kirk Cousins.
Sometimes maybe good, sometimes maybe shit.
I'd probably take Stephon Diggs.
I also thought, because it's also like it comes from, well, a tight end, you got him in there blocking more, and it's just stuff like that where it's like he's kind of an extension of the line. And again, it kind of just depends on what you're running and who you're.
I wonder if you asked Ryan Tannehill who he'd rather have on his team, Mark Andrews or Stephon Diggs.
He would overthrow them both, so it doesn't matter.
Talking to a guy that had AJ Brown.
What do we? And he threw 3 interceptions with AJ in the game on my birthday to ruin it. But
specifically to ruin your birthday.
He did.
Those two guys are dynamic. I mean, they're going to be huge parts of the game. How the Ravens deal with Diggs, and is it the Marlon Humphrey show with them? Or are they switching in between Peters and Humphrey? Stephon Diggs is interesting because maybe different than like Jamar Chase, who you're worried is going to take you the distance every play. Stephon Diggs is just going to methodically just beat you down, like 15-yard gain here, 30-yard gain here, 6-yard gain for a first down here. Like, and then you're just like, oh my God, he has 11 catches for 133 yards and 2 touchdowns.
And 3 touchdowns on Monday night against your team.
Yeah. But none of them, I mean, he had the play over the top against Tennessee, but most of the time it's not like throw it to him. It's a little different than like college Diggs where throw it to him 15 yards down the field and he breaks it for 80. Like he had the potential to do that. He's just in the NFL. He's a supreme route runner technician that just abuses guys if they're not in the right position. And, the Ravens certainly got badgered by Jalen Waddle and Tyreek Hill. So they didn't have to deal with a special receiver against the Jets or the, Patriots. So this is a week for them to kind of prove they can deal with one of those supreme wide receiver talents. Thankfully, they don't have another one on the other side, like it's a Waddle and Hill combination in Miami. But
I was going to say Diggs and Waddle kind of just seems like a bigger Diggs where, like, again, they're both like very good route runners. You get them in space and they're just super, super dangerous. But then one of the other things, and Taylor, you kind of talked about it too, Von Miller versus the offensive line, especially with McCary being out, what is that? At least a couple. I mean, he's not playing this game, at least a couple of weeks. That's going to be, I think Von Miller he still has the skills to just absolutely wreck a game plan and like get in there. So he, him lining up versus whoever on that offensive line, I think that has to be a frightening thought for any Ravens fan. Just being like, this guy could and should like absolutely just eat these linemen for lunch.
Yeah, what the Ravens are doing at left tackle is going to be a huge part of the game.
And I'm also very, very much hoping that we get some sort of mic'd up segment if we end up with Marcus Peters on Stephon Diggs. Because that I feel like could be a very, very interesting conversation.
Humphrey and Diggs is going to be the same thing if those guys are chatting.
Yeah, but Marlon seems like a more of like a joking around. Yeah, like I want that true like that trash talk that I feel like we could get with Peters and Diggs. Marlon will like ask him if he likes mac and cheese or like something funky like that.
It would certainly be fun. Want to go through some injuries here. Michael Pierce definitely going to be out. Torn bicep, I believe, is the diagnosis there. So that's tough for the Ravens. Defensive line depth. Pierce is just a really solid player that, does the job every single week, seemingly. The Ronnie Stanley stuff was interesting, but I can't imagine he's going to play. He still seems a little ways away, but you never know.
Full participant. I don't know.
Wouldn't you think that they want to get him a few of those before? I guess it depends on what he
Yeah.
does tomorrow.
I mean, it's Wednesday. I don't know.
Yeah, your guys that didn't practice today were Jalen Arvin Davis, who was a personal reason. Calais Campbell rested. Marcus Peters rested. Patrick McCary, Justin Houston, Michael Pierce, and then James Prochet and Ronnie Stanley were both hurt last week. Full participants. J.K. Dobbins limited. And then the other big story that we have to get into is Jason Pierre-Paul. Brought in wearing number 4, which I know caused some consternation to the Sam Cook truthers out there. But gives the Ravens another piece from a pass rushing standpoint, and no better time to have him as they try to deal with Josh Allen. Thoughts on the JPP signing from the boys?
I mean, we got to have even warm bodies, but he's one who knows what he's doing. He's his 13th season, so you're getting potentially a shell of what he used to be, but he's been on Super Bowl winning teams. He's accomplished a lot in this league, and even if he's just playing 20, 25 snaps a game and he's just kind of giving somebody a spell, he's at least a presence in the locker room to kind of help those guys, especially like a David Ojabo coming out and starting his career. And when he comes out and is ready to play, like that could be a nice little platoon that they got going there.
I think last year, that loss to the Rams was JPP's first playoff loss ever. I think that was his stat where
I think that's right. Yeah.
Yeah, because every time he went with the Giants, they won the Super Bowl. He went with the Bucs the one year and they won the Super Bowl. So yeah, he's like, what does that mean? 9-1 in the playoffs?
Something like that. Yeah.
3 Super Bowl. I was going to say he may be a Hall of Fame. He may get votes for Hall of Fame. He'll get mentioned, but
it's his total sack number.
I think
80 maybe.
Yes. Yeah. I mean, he had some good years.
I guess around there. I have no idea.
He even had some good years. I think like 2 or 3 years ago with the Bucs. So again, that's not the guy that they're trying to get as the Giants guy or, anything like that. Because
91 and a half sacks.
91 and a half.
91 and a half.
Yeah, one all pro selection, 3 Pro Bowls. I don't think he's a Hall of Famer, but he's certainly a very, very good NFL player.
But he's one of those guys where they'll go like, well, you look at it. I mean, he 3 Super Bowls and he only lost 1 playoff game and blah blah blah. But I mean, he's a Hall of very good.
Yeah. He's a very, very good decade-long NFL player. John Harbaugh said today that they're not sure if I believe it was "we'll see" was the quote on whether JPP will actually play this weekend. On Stanley, it is a very interesting quote. I think it's a priority to go back out there and be at his best when he comes back. At the same time, he's going to jump in at some point. It could be this week. That's a big. Huh?
That says to me that one side, whether it be the player or the team, has one mentality and the other side has the other mentality. That's what I'm seeing out of that. And if I had to lean a certain way, the team is ready to put him out there, and it's Ronnie Stanley that is not willing to just quite yet put himself out there.
I think that is probably the right way to read the quote, because I think if the team was holding him out, I think they would just say, we're being cautious with Ronnie Stanley. That would be the quote.
Mm-hmm.
We're just being cautious with Ronnie. Ronnie's ready to get back out there, but we just want to make sure he's back to full health by the time he's out there. That's what I feel like you would say if you were the team holding him out.
Yeah, absolutely correct. So, I mean, we'll see if he plays. And if he doesn't,
because easily, if he just switches it from, I think it's a priority for him to go out there and be at his best. By just leaving that out, it leaves a little bit to be. But if you just put that, I'm just changing the quote, but like at the same time, feels like if he just did what we told him, he would just be out there. So we'll see. The overall sentiment though is, if he doesn't feel like he should be out there, like, don't go out there. Don't go play in an NFL game if you don't feel comfortable playing in an NFL game.
Yeah.
I mean, all power to the guy. I mean, don't go out there. Yeah. I hope that, I think, if any Ravens fans out there be like, oh, Ronnie Stanley, like, what a wuss, like, get out there if you're ready. Like, I mean, it's this guy's body. And thankfully, I haven't seen a lot of that. There hasn't been like a lot of Ronnie Stanley slander in terms of him not playing, but hopefully he's out there. If he's not, McCary's coming off a sprained ankle. hopefully he's back, but
Is he back? I thought that he was. I figured
it's a sprained ankle, so I would not think he would be back after 1 week. But they haven't given him an official designation for the game at this point. I would assume they'll just list him as questionable, doubtful. But there are no designations given, at least in the injury report I'm staring at right now. So
yeah, I know, and I mean the Bills injury list is. Someone said it looked like the Ravens last week, like last year. Long. It's huge. So
very, very long.
If Gabe Davis plays, like he's a huge. I think did he play last week? I think so.
Yeah, I mean their guys. Some of the notable guys like Gabe Davis, Ed Oliver's on their injury report. Dawson Knox is on their injury report. Von Miller's on their injury report. I believe Von Miller's was a veteran rest thing though. So they just signed Xavier Rhodes to throw in there if they have to. So they're kind of all over the place. They have a lot of guys on the injury report. So could be a survival of the fittest in Baltimore on Sunday. Predictions for this one. Banks.
Ravens 24, Bills 21.
For the podcast only listeners, Banks just put his head into his hand as he thought about that. That looked painful.
JT for the win.
I will go.
Eric.
I'll say 42-35. Bills. I think it's a high scoring puppy. And I think the Bills just kind of I think they just get it done somehow, some way.
I think this is going to be an excellent game. I think the Bills win 31-28. I think it's going to be the game of the weekend. I think it's going to be a really, really fun game to watch. Announcers.
I saw this earlier this week.
You saw it. You guys have both seen it?
I've seen it.
Send Jim Nantz and Tony Romo to the bank. I love Ian Eagle and Charles Davis. I actually think I like them better as game callers, but give this game the respect it deserves from your number one broadcast crew over Packers Patriots.
It's
not 2015.
Where were Nantz and Romo last week? They were oh man, it was a game that they should not have been at. It was an awful game.
They were at oh gosh.
I remember hearing them during Red Zone being like, what the hell is going, because all those games were on Fox. So they were stuck with like some what was
Colts, maybe?
Yes, it was. And that's where I was like, what do we, I get the Chiefs. I get it. And like,
so they will have
Matt
called
Ryan going into the year, but it's like, what are we doing?
They will have called this Patriots game, the week 1 they called Bengals Cowboys, or week 2, excuse me, Bengals Cowboys, and week 1 they called Kansas City Cardinal Arizona. They haven't really even called the best game of the week on their network every week. I don't understand. Like CBS has no good games. Like what are they doing? They have the best game of the week.
Bezos is sucking some of these other networks dry.
Well, and they're giving Monday Night Football better games because they have Buck and Aikman. They're giving Monday Night Football better games than they did before. Like Giants Cowboys is a game that's been on Sunday Night Football every single year.
Yeah.
It
has to stop. It has to.
What? I think there should
Giants,
be a moratorium on NFC East primetime games for 1 year. Just cancel them all. Not a single game.
Same with NFC North. Like I don't need Bears Packers. I don't.
That always makes prime time too. That game stinks. The Bears are one of the true disappointments in the NFL. Would be so much more fun if they were good, and they just suck every single year.
Mm-hmm.
Like they always have to be on prime time because it's the Bears. And they're like Dolphins Bengals is a very good Thursday night game for Bezos. Not that I'm sure they maybe predicted the Dolphins would be this good. CBS's best game. I love talking about TV. CBS's best game of next week is I'm sure this is riveting radio. They don't have anything good the next week either. Their best game is 1 o'clock. Steelers Bills, maybe.
No, that's not even a good. I mean,
week 6 they get Bills Chiefs though.
Yeah. Whatever. Moving on. Baltimore Orioles. Is it over, RDT?
Yeah, I think it's over. They lost tonight 3-1. And you guys know me and Banks. We had this conversation earlier today about the whole Brandon Hyde and I think I went on last week saying like I'm not a lineup truther or anything like that. The lineup tonight was very, very bad. I couldn't not say anything, but
It was really tough for me to say what I said last night and then have that lineup put out there
yeah,
today.
it
It's
was.
tough.
I
It's
was.
tough. And really, it's a lineup card we talked about last week. The lineup card reactions of every day is
Mhm.
the thing that bugs me the most. In-game pitching decisions also bug me because when the starter goes 2 2/3, like what the fuck do you expect the manager to do? I mean,
Mhm.
his hands are tied. He's got to put somebody in that's,
That you
he's
don't
got to
want in
find a
that
way to
spot.
get through 6 innings. Yeah. So, but continue. Sorry.
No. I mean, it's. I think now we're truly into that. Like, well, it doesn't seem like it's going to happen. And again, I mean, they're 80 and let me see, what are they at now? They're 80 and 75. So, and I know that the Mariners had lost yesterday, so they're 4 back. They're 4 back at Seattle, but again, they've lost 2 straight. They're 4-6 in their last 10. It's just like that. Taylor, you've said it for a couple months now, like that 10-2, 13-3 kind of run that they needed to go on just never developed. And I mean, you can't expect the team to just, hey, you need to win 10 out of your next 12 or something like that. But yeah, I mean, it just seems like we kind of had this like, oh, we think they're done like 2 or 3 weeks ago talk, and then they kind of slowly kind of climb back up, and then they've just kind of come back down.
Well, they've just kind of sat there between being 5 out and 3 out. That's where they've sat. And when they're 3 out, you feel like they can get back in it if they win like 5 or 6 straight. And to be honest with you, all of these teams in front of them have given them chances. Like the Mariners have lost their last 2. Here's all these teams in their last 10. Tampa Bay's 5-5, Toronto's 5-5, Seattle's 3-7, and the Orioles are 4-6. If they could have found a 7-3 stretch in 10 games, they're right there with Seattle, who lost a series to the Royals, is losing games to the Rangers.
They have Julio Rodriguez on the IL now.
Yeah, I mean, they're these. It's not like the Orioles got just. We talked about it a couple weeks ago. Like maybe these teams are just running away from the Orioles. Like Toronto's playing good baseball, but all these teams have sputtered, and the Orioles have done nothing to sort of jump on it and make it happen. And they've run out of gas. But like that's actually the most frustrating part. Is it? And it's not for a lack of trying. They easily could have swept Houston. They're in both those Saturday and Sunday games, could have won them both. Probably should have won Saturday. And if they figure out a way to do that, we're sitting here and they're maybe 1 game out from Seattle. And this is a totally different conversation, but they haven't been able to capitalize.
Yeah. I mean, that Saturday game that we were there, that was a total absolute just kick in the dick. That's one of the ones. That's a loss where you look in the mirror and you're just like, I mean, you had it. You had it in the grasp of your hand. And then again, you go into that game on Sunday where you're like, hey, we can sweep these guys and put on an absolute clinic. And I mean, I was at the game Thursday night with Bradish, 8 2/3, a perfect game, I think into the 6th. Like it was unbelievable. And you kind of had this feeling like, all right, like this could start something. And then again, they win Friday. That Saturday game, I mean, if Felix Bautista throws a fastball instead of, I think, the splitter, like it's Kyle Tucker couldn't touch his fastball, and for whatever reason, I don't know who called the pitch, but he didn't throw it and he laced it into right field. They scored 4 in in that 9th, and that was it. And then the extra inning debacle on Sunday. I mean, you kind of had a feeling that was it too. That like if they didn't take 3 out of 4 completely sweep, like you said, and they should have, they 100% could have done that. I do think that's all she wrote. 3-1 loss tonight with a lineup again that wasn't great. Chirinos had the only run, which was a home run to dead center. So I mean, up until this game, I mean, they're hitting. Would they score? 8-9 last night, like 14 the night before. So the guys are swinging it. It's just, it doesn't seem like an MLB Network Baltimore starters 7.36 ERA in their last 5 games. That's it right there. I mean, The pitching is kind of coming back down. Bullpen is meh. It's whatever. But yeah, I think that this is all she wrote on the 2020, what year is it? 2022 Orioles. And again, it's nothing to be ashamed of. It's not like hang your head like this sucks. I mean, it's still a great season. Anyone who says like, well, this season sucks because we could have been in the playoffs, like I get it. But again, this team is supposed to win 62 games and they're going to win 85, hopefully 83, 84, something like that. So I do think they've run out of gas though. But again, it's hard to blame them. It's a lot of young guys playing a lot of baseball for the first time in their life. So, I don't really know what you can expect from guys like that.
It's only frustrating in the sense that they had a chance, but when you look back on it, it'll be great. I'm gonna. Can you guys fill time here as I have a rant to go on about the fan base, but I need you guys to fill time while I plug my computer in. Can we? There's some technical behind the scenes things.
Sure.
He's gonna go off about the fan base, huh? The thing that's like, you said it well about how the Mariners kind of opened a window for us here. Lost 8 of 11, and we've kind of floundered too. The reason why it's especially over is that the Mariners are playing some dog shit teams all at home here to
Their
finish out.
schedule is
It's
insane.
just the A's, I don't even remember. I think the Rangers and some other dog shit team here at home. So they might lose tonight and they might fall back to 3.5. And what is it? 8 games left, something like that.
I think so.
I mean, I guess it's not mathematically over by any means, but at the same time, it just feels like it's over. Now I'm interested. The Tides finished their season, and there's, you look at the timeline, there's potentially one Grayson Rodriguez start. Do we even bother?
I don't hate the idea of getting his feet wet, bringing him up, because again, it's like, do you do it now or do you do it potentially next year, opening day weekend, which I think they open it the season with the Yankees. So it's like, all right, you send him to New York to make a start in front of a packed Yankee Stadium, or do you do it now when, I guess his next start would be, when did he start last night? That may
His
be
next start could be at a packed Yankee
Stadium.
Stadium.
Looking to see Aaron Judge's 60-second home run. So that's kind of a moot point. But
I could wait and just throw him out in the last series against Toronto in front of the home fans. You could just wait.
That would be great too. I think that would be
7 days rest or whatever.
Yeah, I mean, if the Orioles want to get some extra tickets at the gate or something like that, hell yeah, bring them up, announce them.
Speaking of extra tickets to the gate.
Oh yeah, all right, go off.
I mean, I don't want to like go off. I went on Friday, and I'm not a guy that's going to a million Orioles games, so it's certainly not my place to sit here and be like, why is everyone not at the game? But I would have just thought walking in there on Friday that there were going to be a few more people there as the Orioles have their last stand in the wild card. Now, I can't totally blame a fan base that's gotten beaten down year after year after year. But in a world where it's a beautiful fall night, it's in the mid 60s, you throw a sweatshirt on, you should be pretty comfortable for most of the night. Maybe you tap out early if you're feeling a little cold. I just expected more than 22,546 announced. I was in there and there was just no atmosphere really in there for a team that's has exciting players, and everyone's been asking them for these guys and for them to play hard and be competitive. And you have the best team in the American League in your building with 2 weeks to go, and you're still a little bit in the playoff race. It ended up being 24,000 on Sunday. It was less for the Brooks Robinson game, which I'm sure they were, it was fan appreciation weekend. The Orioles did that whole thing. And then in those 2 Tigers game, I know the Tigers suck. For all those attendances to be around 10,000. I mean, I know the fan base has gotten beaten down, but God, I just am stunned that there's not more people at the park the last 2 weeks of teams there. I guess I shouldn't be because the team got beat down, but I just was in the stadium and I was just where is everybody for this game? I would have expected 28 to 30,000, not even that many more, but just a little more full, a little bit more of an environment in there. Just really wasn't there. And that just shows you how far the Orioles still have to come to convince people to get in there, because this is around 80 win team, and way worse teams around the league putting more people in the ballpark day in and day out than the Orioles. So, that's why it goes back to when you tank this long, you have to deal with the consequences. So it's not necessarily a call out of the fan base, more of just I'm just shocked people weren't excited to go to those games.
So
More than they were.
So I went on Saturday, like I said, and I talked to one of my friends in PR, and I said, because you and I had talked, I think Friday night or Saturday morning, about the attendance and stuff like that. And I said to her, I said, so last night was a little light, wasn't it? And she was like, yeah, we didn't expect that. Like, we thought a ton more people would show up. And again, I was there. So when I was there Thursday night.
That's right. You and I did text. I texted you and I was like, where is everybody at this game?
Yeah, which makes sense. And again, when I was there Thursday night was the Gunner t-shirt night. Pulling into the stadium, I hadn't seen that many people walking in a long time. Like, I got one of the parking passes and we parked in like lot B or C or whatever. And we went back there, and I mean, there were people forever there were a ton of people. And I'm like, this is going to be an insane crowd. This is going to be great. And then we get in there, and it was 16,000. I looked it up at the end of the game.
They announced 16,000. Yeah.
I said, that seemed a little light. I was like, I really thought there was a lot more people. And then again, I talked to my friend on Saturday, and I said, what's up with this? And she's like, I don't know if it's the cold weather. I don't know if it's, she said, we don't know if college football, because this was Saturday. She said, we don't know if people are going to come out for college football or stuff like that. Like, I said, well, Maryland played, at noon or 1 o'clock or whatever. Like that, that game's over. Not that people aren't going to Orioles games because the Terps are on or college football is on. It's not like it's a diehard, college football town or anything like that. But
it's definitely not.
And she said, we really were expecting a lot more people on Friday. And I said, well, we'll see how Saturday is. And I forget what Saturday's number was. Do you have that? Because that was the Brooks Robinson day. And that's
Saturday was lower. Saturday was lower than Friday, 22,546. Friday was 22,833. So nominally lower. It's the same crowd essentially.
Well, and again, it was Brooks Day. You had Trey obviously coming back, which he didn't play Saturday early. And
it was
Saturday
beautiful out on Saturday.
Awesome. Awesome.
Beautiful.
Weather. Yep. So yeah, it was awesome weather. And again, like you said, a little chilly, but like I was sitting in left field in the bleachers without a sweatshirt on. It was like, this is fine. The second you walked underneath on the concourse, it was windy, it was cold and all that. But when you were out, on the field, it was fine. And the people I was talking to, they said that they were like, yeah, we don't, we kind of just thought more people would be here. And again, it was a giveaway. And I don't know what Sunday's attendance was. I know that was a hat giveaway and stuff like that. I do think
24,000.
Yeah, that's that's fine. Again, I thought it would be higher. The Brooks thing and the crowd, I think, was really, really good on Saturday too. Like the videos and stuff they put out of Brooks was awesome. Watching him drive around the field was really cool. But again, that was a back and forth game, and I thought the fans and the atmosphere was great. Like they were into it. It was loud. We had to leave in like the 6th or 7th inning. But yeah, I thought the crowd was really good that night. Obviously, the kick in the dick later, kind of hurt. But and I don't know what to expect for the last 3 games of the year. That Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday versus the Jays. That'll be.
I think the crowds. I think the crowds are gonna be bad.
Yeah, which again,
based on the Detroit crowds and based on the fact that the team is really no longer in the playoff race, I bet those crowds are gonna be bad. Unless the weather's unbelievable.
I know.
Which I bet it's not gonna be.
I'm thinking like 10 or 11. We're right around there, where it's just like, all right, well.
And I think
kind of sucks to see him flounder out like that. The crowd.
I think they'll now have an entire offseason to continue to switch this narrative about the team, and I'm sure the crowds at the beginning of next year will be good. And I honestly applaud them. I think that they've done a very good job on their social media and things like that of rebranding the guys, the personality and they have a good, all the stuff we've praised them, and the improvements there over and over and over. And obviously all of us know people over there and applaud their work, but it's honestly, if I was them, just more motivation to be like, all right, like you guys still aren't going to show up. Like, let's put even more into this. Like, we'll convince you, like we have the players now, we'll have the hype now. I thought they kind of flipped the narrative a little bit, and that crowd just in there for a Friday night game when even like colleges are back. So you would think that like you'd have college kids coming down. I don't know if they'd still do the traditional student night, to be honest. I'm not totally up on like all the ticket deals, but easy thing to come down and do that night. I even like had multiple different like friends groups going. So I was like, oh, this is going to be like 32,000 people in here, and it's going to be kind of rocking. And I walked in there and I was like, this is not what I expected. I just expected to be there to be a little more buzz in the park,
Mhm.
and combination of factors, I'm sure. But I hope that I hope that next year going into the year, there's just more Orioles games that feel like events again, because those have been so few and far between. And obviously it's football, it's less games, and college football is a similar way. But when it just has that event, like it's the place you've got to be feel. I thought the Orioles had crept a little bit into that with this run and Gunnar and Adley and the young players and likable players like Mateo. Guys, like the Orioles have exciting players to watch, Mateo and Adley and Tony Taters and all these different guys.
Tony Taters.
I
He's
mean,
been unbelievable the last week.
Incredible.
He's silently, he's fifth in the AL in home runs right now, which he's a monster.
I just wanted to throw that. I was interested to see what you guys thought, because I just was like, just thought this would feel a little bit more like, an event tonight. And it wasn't totally there. So I hope that there's more there, and that's not a shot at the Orioles. It's not for a lack of trying. And all the people trying to do that right now, aren't at fault for, I guess, unless you're talking about Mike Elias, aren't at fault for losing 100 games year after year. That's not even necessarily Mike Elias' fault. He had to change the organization, and sometimes you go through bad things to get to good, but cannot wait for opening day this year. I think that the introductions on the orange carpet are going to be electric and all that different stuff. But so yeah, I guess not necessarily a call out to the fan base, but I was just like, this is like, I would have thought we were like in the trenches for the last stand of the team, which those, 3 weekend games really were. I mean, that was trying to figure out if you could still get there. Yep. But yeah, and shout out to, I was going to end it with that, but shout out to Anthony Santander. What an incredible story he is. And we've talked about, I feel like we've had a week for like all of these guys. We've talked about Mateo, we've talked about the young players, we talked about the pitching staff, and we haven't given Santander his like run of where we talk about these guys for 3 minutes and praise them. Insane what he's doing right now.
He very quietly is like turned into a very, very good baseball player. Like he was a Gold Glove candidate in 2020, and like he was always like, oh yeah, he's good, like he's okay. And he had his ups and downs, but like this year he's walking much more. And again, the power is just, he's 33 home runs, I think. He's again before tonight, I think it's 6 home runs in the last 4 games. Like the multi-home run games had it Saturday. I think he had it Monday, and then I think Tuesday too. So like he was unbelievable to watch. And again, it sucks because they're 0 now they're 1-9, I believe. 1-9 or 1-9 in his multi-home run games, which was always after Saturday when they lost and he had his 2 home runs. They fell to 0-8 when he hits more than multiple home runs, which was an insane stat. 0-8 when you hit more than 1 home run is crazy, especially just for one guy. So yeah, he's been really good. And again, I just, everyone now just wants to see them get 2 more wins. Like just get to 82, the road to 82. So they finish above 500. So we'll see if they can do that.
Shout out to him. Hopefully, I can't wait for this Orioles team to run it back next year. It's going to be very fun. Very, very fun. Let's get to our starting 5 draft presented by Fed Thrill. Fed Thrill sunglasses. Yes, it's getting a little bit chillier, but the sun was certainly out on a beautiful fall feeling Saturday. And sunglasses were needed as the sun came down. Was out at a brewery and could have used some Fed Thrills. At that time. So 20% off. Use the promo code Exit52, the podcast that we are currently podcasting on, to get your 20% off. Sports lingo is the topic. We had bandied this around amongst our group chat for a couple of weeks, and we are going to do it. Now, we already have our draft for next week. I think we're doing best tandems or duos or whatever next week. We had that as a topic.
Yeah,
so
we threw that out there. So
we're really planning in advance as opposed to planning these 3 hours before the show.
Look at us.
So applaud us for that, listeners. Banks, you have the first pick. RDT, you have the second pick. I have the third pick. Banks, you can start it off.
I'm going to take probably the most lingo extensive sport. I think, did you mention one? We're doing one.
Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, the rules there.
Sports.
Can't double dip on a sport. So every sport is available, but can only use it once. Yes.
I'm taking spoon with lacrosse. I like to have fun with the lacrosse crowd. I'm not necessarily a lacrosse guy, but I understand it. I know the sport well enough, but they just love like them using the word spoon to describe a stick. I don't know why I love it so much. I just love like when it's on TV and you just see a bunch of people in the stands with their spoons. It's like, like, can you imagine going to a hockey game and watching people with their hockey sticks up in the crowd? Like, it's just such a funny scene to me. Just like Laxers just love to bring their spoons places.
Do I have
I
my
love to just
spoon?
say
I gotta see if
spoon.
I got my spoon in here real quick.
I just love to say spoon and just talk about, oh, did you bring your spoon, bro?
Yeah.
Taylor's going to get a spoon.
Spoon's a good one. Like you always hear it in high school too. Like, kids walking through the hallway, be like, and then you always had like a teacher being like, you can't put that down. They're like, oh, it's my spoon. Like I got it. It's
Yeah,
my
bro.
spoon,
It's like an extension of me, bro.
Coach said I have to keep it on me. Like I gotta work on my cradling. There it is.
Oh, geez, got the mitts out too.
Yeah.
I got my spoon here. Now, this is just some classic stuff. These are the Calvert Hall Fresh Off Lacrosse. That was the highest level I could play, but here are the Calvert Hall Fresh Off Lacrosse gloves.
I'm sure those smell
Right here.
fantastic.
Some old school STX, which someone in our office called STX sticks today. That's just someone that's not from here.
No.
It's a bit of a tough scene. So I got there the I Pros. This is from like 2010 or something. But then we got an Under Armour. I bought an Under Armour stick. The Under Armour doesn't make sticks anymore, actually. So, but got the spoon here. I might just do the draft with my spoon right here. The rest of see if I can just
knock over your mic when you go to cradle.
Yeah, I'm gonna not. Well, and I had firm mic troubles for the pod. So if I break my mic here again, these guys are gonna kill me. I also can't type with the gloves on, so that's an issue. But spoon's a great pick. Spoons are great. Other things you can call stick, which we won't go into yet. Maybe they'll get picked in this draft. So I try to cradle here without knocking anything over.
Spoons.
I probably look like I have no skill. I actually am better at lacrosse than this would indicate, but it's just kind of hard.
I can't tell if there's a ball in there.
There's not. That would be dangerous. I do have a ball somewhere down here, but I'm not gonna go find it again. RDT.
Oh man, this is tough.
First round, dude.
Yeah. All right. I'm gonna go. Do I want to take that? Yeah, I'll take that. I'm gonna go sin bin for. We'll go hockey. I think sin bin, like, it's such a class. And again, you could use it for lacrosse. You can use it for anything else with a penalty box. But when they call the penalty box a sin bin, it's like, it's 2 in the sin bin. It always like has just resonated with me. I think it's very funny. It gets me every time. So very, very
sin bin's
clever.
good.
It's short.
Like it.
It rhymes. It's just sin bin. Very funny.
I cannot figure out a way to prop this correctly. There we go. Oh, and the
You look
Calvert
like
Hall logo.
You look like you're like senior picture, like over your
Love the Calvert
shoulder.
Hall logo.
Yeah,
Very
like-
feature. I should put one of these gloves on the old backdrop here, which my backdrop is way off center here. I am not doing a great job. Simbin's a good pick. I am gonna take maybe an obvious one, but I feel like maybe that's not as much like lingo in the spirit of this draft. I can't decide. I'm just gonna go get the ones I really want. I'm gonna take nutmeg first.
On my board.
That's a good one.
Classic in soccer and then kind of can happen in other sports as well. And then I'm gonna take a newer one. Sort of to the scene here that's become popular. I'm gonna take from Formula One. I'm gonna take push push.
That's a good one.
Push bucks. I guess someone could take bucks. I don't think. Maybe I'll just take push. So I'm gonna take push and nutmeg. A little off the wall there, sport wise, but I like both of those. I like saying both of those. There's a ton of good soccer ones. I don't think you guys are probably gonna get into soccer. Maybe you're not soccer guys. A lot of good soccer lingo. Nutmeg being my favorite. RDT.
Does ball don't lie? Does that count?
Is it more of an idiom? I'm fine with it. Fuck it.
Yeah, I'm fine with it.
All right, we'll do ball don't lie for and that'll be my basketball one, my NBA one. Well, you could say, I mean, it became popular from obviously Rasheed Wallace. But,
I'm fine with ball don't lie.
But
Yeah.
But I mean, you say it in everything. The Howie Kendrick home run was a ball don't lie in the World Series. You see it in NFL all the time. Guy misses a field goal after like a call goes the wrong way, ball don't lie. But there's nothing like it, like a good ball don't lie in the NBA. Miss free throws after a phantom foul or something like that. And again, obviously that's what Rasheed Wallace made it famous for. And ball don't lie is just a great thing to say. It's a nicely placed ball don't lie that will get a crowd go, like a group of guys going like no other, like just a good ball don't lie.
It's a good pick.
Thank you.
Yeah. Good pick.
Banksy.
I'm going to dive into football here. Anybody who's ever played it has heard their offensive line coach use either this phrase or use the word in it. Put a hat on somebody. I just love offensive line coaches is talking about, hey, the pulling guard, he's got to get over there and put a hat on somebody.
Hat on a hat.
Yeah, hat on a hat. I
Yep.
love people on kickoff coverage. Like, hey, get to that guy, put a hat on somebody. Hey, when you finish your block there, you got to get to the second level and put a hat on somebody. Like, I just love the phrase, put a hat on somebody.
It's a good pick.
So, yeah, I'm taking that. And then, I just have so many from baseball. I don't know which one I'm going to pick here. I don't know why I've grown to love this one in particular, but it's just a dick baller, just somebody who just throws, just lops up. It's hard for me to talk about it without
using other
potential picks out there, but guys are just lopping meat in there. They're just throwing pus. They're just dick ball, and they're just throwing balls right down the middle, dick high. It's just a dick baller, just usually a generic righty who he just nothing special. He's probably got some dinky curveball and a shitty changeup, but most of all, he just throws something flat over the top, right down the middle, dick baller.
Ubaldo. I would be curious to see how many times the phrase dick baller was muttered in 2014 with Ubaldo.
Yeah. He definitely went through a big dick baller phase, as did pretty much the Orioles for 2 decades.
Yeah. Yes. Anyone who put on an Orioles uniform.
Vinny Ponson was a little bit of a dick baller.
Miguel Gonzalez after some time, certified dick baller. Dylan Bundy, dick baller.
Dick baller.
Yeah. Still a dick
Dylan
baller.
Bundy.
Gave up a huge home run to Trout the other night.
Oof.
Who?
We don't talk about him anymore, do we?
I
don't know who that.
Taylor doesn't talk about him.
I don't know what we're talking about.
He's the new Bruno, which if you haven't seen Encanto, then you got to step it up.
Bruno Mars?
No. Encanto.
No, I know. I just didn't know what we were talking about initially, so it's hard for me to even participate in this conversation.
I know.
RDT.
Did you do? You did 2 of them?
You did 2.
All right. I'm going this one for NFL. Pigskin. Just the pigskin. That's what it is. Tossing the old pigskin around, hold on to the pigskin. That's just a classic. Again, you know what it is when you hear it. It's the pigskin. It's definitely not made of real pigskin. I don't know what it's made out of, but I'm sure at one time it was made out of pigskin. Like that's when the Browns won all their championships, when it was like pigskin, but it's just a classic. Feels good to say.
That's a good one. That's a very good one. It's a very simple one. There's a lot of simple football ones. I'm going to just keep it in other random sports just to kind of vary this thing. I'm going to go firmly in. I'm going to go to MMA and then to boxing so I can get 2 of these in because they're 2 separate sports. MMA is unique to MMA. I'm going to go ground and pound for MMA, which has sort of also made its way into football as the Ravens are a ground and pound team because they're on. All right, I'm putting the stick down. Putting my spoon down. So I'm gonna go ground and pound first. Just a great term or slang that MMA has brought into the fore there. So I'm gonna do that. And then for boxing, I've always liked this one. This might be a little off the wall. I'm gonna take glass jaw. The fighter has a glass jaw. I've always thought that was like a great summation for someone that can't take a punch.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm gonna take that as well. Couple of combat sports here.
I like that.
Towards the middle of the draft. RDT.
This is my last. Or no, I have 2 more. Yeah.
You have
2 more. All right. I'm going baseball. I'm going dong. Just dong for a home run. There's many good things you can call a home run.
Yeah,
Like-
I couldn't even decide between a lot of them. It's hard.
Dong has grown near and dear to my heart, so I had to pick
Should
that
have
one.
figured you were going to take that.
Yeah. Again, there's a lot. There are a lot of good baseball ones, but
Tons.
Dong is the one. Dong is the one for me.
I'm moving all my baseball ones out
Banks.
of my list. I'm going to go to hockey. I'm going to take waffle board. I don't know why I love that one either, but it's just a goalie using the blocker pad. He's waffle board with that one.
There's another hockey
Does
one
that
that I
thing-
thought you were going to take. You're a big fan of it.
Oh, fuck.
Like, I would let you redo it and take that one.
I don't know who you're talking about.
I mean, I could tell you after. I don't know if you want me
Taylor,
to.
yeah,
spoil it.
Taylor hasn't taken any hockey ones, so I
Yeah.
can't even do it. I don't know
It'll
what
be
to
in
say.
it'll be in my honorable mentions.
Okay. Well, I'm gonna move along between two things that I like very much. Sports, that is. I'm gonna take tops and darts.
Tops.
Just love a good announcer just going tops. And he
Tops
hits
is
a
so
double
good.
20. Tops is great. I thought there were maybe some other ones in that sport I might go with, but I'm gonna go with tops just because I just love the announcer yelling it right before he hits it.
Yeah. Very, very good one.
I was
RDT.
waiting for the barrage of darts to come. I figured those are going to be
Yeah.
hot and heavy. I'll go airmail for cornhole. Just a good airmail.
Cornhole.
You just
Wow.
sink
Okay.
it right in. Nothing like an airmail. Fun
Wait,
to
you
say.
sink it in and that's considered an airmail?
Well, when you toss it, not over.
I thought it would just be a throw where it's straight over the board. Like,
No. This is like straight in
wow,
airmail.
it's not the same connotation as airmail with all the other sports.
Not like an air ball. Airmail. Yeah. Yeah.
Airmail is Jarrett. Was it Jarrett Jack in basketball? Or was it somebody else, similar name, where he just threw the full court shot at the buzzer and it just went
Oh, it goes
like
like
20
60
rows
rows
deep.
deep.
That
Yeah,
is an airmail
Madison
to
Square
me.
Garden, I think it is.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's an airmail to me.
Yeah, I could see that. Yeah, but I don't know. I was looking it up, and cornhole it said it was an in. I've heard it said before too, so we'll run with that. Airmail.
Can't say I played a lot of cornhole. So I mean,
Really?
I played a lot of cornhole.
That's a
but
big
airmail's
brewery
not a
game. I
term
thought
I-
you.
No, well, I'll get to my brewery experience. In Nick Cater medley. I'm gonna go wrestling, and I'm gonna take. There's a lot of great wrestling lingo. I'm gonna take jobber as a guy that just jobs out to a better. There's so many good ones. I almost took a couple other ones, but I'm gonna take jobber because I think it's a funny word.
What does that mean? Can you explain that?
A jobber is like a guy put out there to lose to a guy that's clearly better. Like
So
you're
he's
just like
The Washington
like, if I'm just-
Generals.
sort of yes. It's enhancement talent is is another way to say that. Like,
Mhm.
hey, this is the local guy. It's like they don't get a ring entrance, and John Cena just comes out and kills them
Got it.
to make them look better. Yeah,
Got it.
that's a jobber. So I will throw that on at the end. This could have been a 40-round draft.
Mhm.
Banks took spoon. Also could have taken twig or twag.
Twag.
Twag. That's sheesh. Sin bin. Oh, sorry. Banks took spoon. Put a hat on somebody. Should say that with some emotion. Dick Baller. Waffle board and tops. RDT took sin bin. Ball don't lie. Pigskin. Dong. And airmail. I took nutmeg. Push. Ground and pound. Glass jaw and jobber to just stay with a bunch of niche sports for the entire time. Except for soccer, biggest sport in the world. I mean, honorable mentions could go on for days here. I'm shocked neither of us took a golf one, Brian. That's really the only shock of the
That
draft.
was what I was up against. There's just too many of them.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But I can't think of one that I'm like really enamored with right now. Other than like, I don't know why I like saying double cross.
I mean,
It's just a whole
albatross
total.
is a very, very good slang term.
Yeah, but it's almost like a term in itself. Like it's an
Yeah.
actual term, sort of. I had
Yeah.
chili dip. Chili dip was my other golf one that I was close to taking. Just a chunk, just a big chunk near the green.
Yeah.
Tiger went through a little chili dip phase.
Fried egg,
Mm,
whatever.
yeah, fried egg,
I had Hazel Rocket.
Hazel Rocket.
I'd
Yeah,
bump and run.
Bump and run. Yeah, bump and run's a good one.
I'll just go through a couple. Cheap
Banger.
shot, fumble, move the goalpost, hang time, hat trick. Just calling basketball hoops. A couple soccer ones: howler, brace, and worldy. Forecheck, I felt like slang to me. Shred, send it, yard stale, stomp, some action sports stuff in there.
I had
And
yard
then
sale.
drafting and a car being loose in racing.
NASCAR,
And then
or-
I've
yeah.
always loved in tennis a person being referred to as a counter puncher. Like when they're just a baseliner that just stands there and gets everything back. I've always thought that was a cool way to describe something. So just a couple there. I don't know if you guys have any ones you want to go through.
I got some. I got lid for a helmet, or
Yeah.
lid, and that
Is
could
that
have
what it
been
was?
that was my like NFL. Like people call it a lid, or I guess at NHL too, but like a lid.
Hockey, yeah. A
Yeah.
bucket.
Biscuit, just calling like the ball the biscuit.
Yeah.
Football, or even hockey.
That's hockey. Yeah.
Cheese, top shelf, like
Yeah.
any of those.
Upper 90.
Yep, calling teeth chiclets. Clapper. Clapper is a good one too. Like
Flapper is a good one.
I had calling the first down marker sticks. Like, oh, I shorted the sticks. I love that. I don't know why.
That's a good one too.
Just like I think I was watching the Sunday night game. It was like, oh, short of the sticks, and I just like, oh, yep, they gotta get that one down. Dot for an outside pitch, right on the black, just like, oh, he dotted it
On the black.
Yeah, on the black. Alley oop, I think, is a really good one. Could have been taken. Boards just for rebounds. Bricks, obviously. Hitting into the bunker, just calling the bunker the beach. Like that always plays. I thought hack a shack. I didn't know if
putting a ball into the drink. Also a good one for
drink. Yep.
Yeah. Watery grave.
Yep. Lunch ball. Just calling a mulligan a lunch ball.
Breakfast ball.
Yeah.
Lunch ball.
Baltimore chop, can of corn, calling like a well hit with just like a cookie. I like cookie.
Yeah, cookie on there.
And then I just had like ace for pitcher. Just like that was
sure.
It's always so cool when you can be like, all right, that's the ace. He's just their ace. So that was it for me though.
Baseball, I had duck fart, I had ham and eggs, I had piss rocket, cookie, dick ball, just the singular instead of the performer. I said dick ball. Yeah, and pus. Pus is just somebody's up there throwing pus. He ain't throwing nothing. 3 jack is a little golf one for you. I had spider 2-leg banana on my list. I thought that might have been a good one. Maybe I should have taken that. I kind of blanked on this one, to be honest. I thought I was gonna have a lot just kind of flowing out of me. Maybe some more.
It's hard because you think about lingo and it's becomes so a part of your normal vernacular that you don't think about it as like unique anymore.
Manufacture like the situation for yourself, or you're thinking of it.
I'm shocked you took spoon number 1.
Stinger, flayed it down, hooded. I hit a hooded iron in there. It's little stuff like that.
Like, like you talk about, it's hard to come up with them. And like, you look at Big Cat coming up with Yabo, like Yabo is a perfect one too. Like,
that's great.
Yeah. You got to just create your own, like, you just got to be creative like that. So
good draft. Send us ones we might have missed. I'm sure there's ones we did. I mean, we could go on this forever on a bunch of different sports.
Aluminum power. Sorry.
No, you're good. Nick Kinder Medley, Maryland Person of the Week, RDC.
I'm just gonna go with. Oh, this is tough. I don't know. I think I'm just gonna go with hoodies. Like, I think it's the perfect hoodie weather now. You've got it on. Like, I wore mine all day. It's the perfect, like, even though, again, like I take Joe to daycare in the morning, it's 55 degrees. And then, go out to get the mail at lunchtime and it's 70, but it's like, it's all right. It's still cool. I'm in a hoodie. It's a nice comfortable time to be in a hoodie. It's the perfect shorts and hoodie weather, shorts and long sleeve. Like that's just the best time of the year. So we'll go hoodie.
I should just piggyback off him.
Do it.
I'm taking chili.
Mm-hmm.
It's chili season. I declared it tonight. It is chili season in a big way. Homegirl made me some chili in a crock pot. We got some meals lined up for next couple days. Weather's starting to turn down a little bit. It's going to be a rainy weekend. So get them crock pots out of storage and get them going because it is chili season officially.
I had thought about making chili this week, like on my way home from somewhere. And I was like, oh, we could do like chili. Like I could definitely,
There's a chance it's a little early, but like once you get that first whiff of cool fall air, it's like chili me.
Yeah.
Hit me with that chili.
Yep. That's I was excited when I saw your tweet and I was like, all right, it's a good time.
We can go. It's good time.
Absolutely.
I mean, I guess we'll do this for like the third consecutive year on this podcast. I'm not a big chili guy.
You're just missing out. I don't know. I don't understand how you don't like chili.
Yeah, I've just never been a big chili guy. Big, huge fan of the chili. I appreciate your guys' love for it.
So good.
Beans or no beans, Taylor? I mean, what's
the whole
I think I've tried them both. I don't know if I've just had. I think there is like this is not a definitive opinion. I think that like there is room for me to find the specific concoction of chili that firmly, grabs me and brings me into this
chili
seemingly is a love affair for so many people. So I'm not saying that's not possible at this point in my life. I just haven't had someone give me the chili. And I know there's different ways to do chili, right? Like there's just, you have like the Cincinnati chili. You just have different chilies.
Turkey chili. There's white chili.
Yeah. So I think, and maybe it's just me being a little more open to, bringing in chili into my life and putting my arms around it and really sinking, both literally and figuratively sinking my teeth into it and coming into this world with you guys, the chili world. I think that's possible. And maybe it's this winter. Maybe Brian, I come over and this weekend and we have some chili together. I don't know. Maybe we do that.
Possible.
Maybe we find maybe we all find a certain barbecue place that has some
like maybe the three of us go get chili together.
Soul rolls.
Do a chili. I have a place. I don't free ads as to where I think has the best chili in this immediate area, Taylor.
Yeah.
And now that I think about it, oh no, it's not where we're playing anymore. Fuck. We'll figure it out. But I don't know that I've ever seen you eat Mexican food or like ground beef based things.
I love Mexican food.
Off base on that.
I love Mexican food. I will say I don't jump into it. I will eat ground beef based Mexican dishes, but they are not my favorite of the Mexican dishes when I eat Mexican food. But I don't have anything against ground beef. I like ground beef. There's none of the elements. I just don't know what it is.
You love ketchup. It's like most tomato, like it's a tomato based dish.
This is what I'm saying. This is my entire point.
Spice thing.
No, I like spicy food.
Yeah.
I don't know. I also feel like this is like we're just breaking you down like we're psychiatrists. Like
I think it's a fair thing. This is what I'm saying. I don't know if I've just ever committed to being a chili guy, and at this point, it's just everyone else all these other people are chili people. And so what I'm saying is I think there is room for me to, by springtime we have a look back in March. We're doing a pod, and chili season is coming to an end, and I say, guys, I've really flipped the script on chili. I like eating chili now. That is 100%. In the cards. Like maybe I go to a tailgate at some point in the next couple weeks. And
that's what I was thinking.
There's a crock pot of chili there, and I'm just like, you know what? Screw it. I'm jumping in there. I'm getting some chili. It's cold. I'm like, I'm 4 beers deep, and I just like hammer some chili. Like that's possible that happens. It's also possible that I continue down this road of no chilidom, of chililess life. That's also possible. I mean, that's what
imagine a chilliness. That's
what I've been doing. Not to put
life.
you on blast here, Taylor, because I'm in the same boat, but you don't have the most mature of palates out there. I think we can agree on that.
I think that is an unfair. Like you don't eat vegetables. Like
that's cap. I ate
don't throw that allegation
back-to-back days on last Thursday and Friday at a rehearsal dinner and a wedding. I ate both my salads in full.
I would say,
Not a big deal.
would chili be something that gives you a diverse palate, though? I would almost argue the other way.
No, I'm just saying, relatively speaking, like you seem to have things that are your things and you love them. And I'm the same exact way.
It's less of a, I think it's less of a diverse palate and more of a, I just go with the things that I know on food wise, because like once you settle on a food order and you know it's going to be good, but I don't think I'm not unwilling to try something. Like if you guys stuck chili in front of me, I'm not like beating it off with a stick. I'm going in there and I'm scooping the chili up and I'm eating it. And then I'm deciding if I like it.
Is that
yes,
like I came around to chili. It's been the last 2 or 3 years, especially the last 2 years, I would say. I matured into chili is not, I don't know if that's really the right word. That's kind of the angle I was going at, but maybe it's not the right way to go about it. But chili has, I've come around to chili, I suppose.
I will
beans in the chili. I was not into beans, and now I'm like, oh yeah, the beans, they ain't hurt nobody.
I don't like beans. Like I don't eat them in Mexican restaurants or Chipotle, but I will eat them in.
I do like beans. Like I have black beans,
chilies.
pinto beans. I like both.
Banks, I will say this, and I tried this with Will Compton when he posted this. The peanut butter sandwich in the chili, dipping it into it is fantastic.
I love peanut butter sandwiches.
DMs just tonight saying like, hey, add some peanut butter into that chili and you'll thank me later. And I was like, I believe it.
He like
peanut butter is so good.
Oh, it's the best.
It's just so good.
It's very, very good. It's
an elite substance.
Will had like tweeted it like 2 years ago, and he was like, oh yeah, like that's what we used to eat before football games.
Blogged it, and I was like, I don't know that was blog worthy. Like it's an interesting thing, but it's not like a crazy thing to do.
And then I tried it and I was like, this is amazing. And I was like, now I get it. Like, this is, like if I grew up in Missouri, like where Will did playing high school football, it's exactly what I would be eating. Because I thought it was crazy at first. I was like, it's gross. Like tomato.
In Missouri.
Because it seems like a Midwest, like a flyover state thing. You know, like it seems like that's all those big boys eat out there. It's like, oh yeah, we just eat our chili and peanut butter.
See that?
But yeah, it's very good. Someone else said cinnamon rolls and chili, because again it's that sweet and it's the sweet
cinnamon. I'm not big on cinnamon based.
I'm a big cinnamon roll guy.
No, I'm not sweet guy. I like it spicy.
I mean at least 2 Cinnabons a day, mostly just cleaning up what JoJo doesn't.
I like cinnamon rolls for sure. I love cinnamon rolls, but I'm talking about in the chili.
Cinnamon rolls.
Cinnamon based chili is not for me.
No. I'm not a fan. I mean, I'll put it in, but I don't lean on it as a crutch. But
inject that right in my veins.
Overall, I think the to sum up this conversation, chili is good.
Chili is good.
I think the three of us find a time to go get chili together. I think that would be wonderful.
Love to get chili with you guys.
That'd be wonderful. That'd be wonderful. We should figure that out. And we'll put
Maryland hoops. Let's go to Hard Times.
I was gonna say Hard Times.
I love Hard Times. See, this is the thing. I don't get the chili at Hard Times because the buffalo chicken at Hard Times is moi.
Oh, and the wings, the Texas wings are so good.
The Texas wings are so good.
They're so good.
I think we've talked about Hard Times at some point.
Yeah, before. I worked there for like a year.
You did. Hard Times is, I think Hard Times is under franchised.
It's open one.
I would love to.
Roy Rogers.
I love Hard Times. Roy Rogers, by the way, a tough scene for Roy's at Stamp Student Union when I say that photo. So I was sending the RDT, I was sending these guys our group chat, which is pretty much all people that went to Maryland, mostly. And I was like going around to the lines at each of the places of the student union at Maryland. And Chick-fil-A is like just an insane line. And then I just turned to Roy's. Just no one at Roy's.
Well, it's because they don't have a Fixins bar, right?
They do have the Fixins bar. It's in there.
Is it open?
It's they have a Fixins bar. Yeah,
I don't know if the one in Burtonsville is.
You guys should be doing a promotion with them for the Gold Rush games.
I mean, they
wanted to do sponsorship and stuff, and I don't know what they're doing now. For those that went to Maryland that are listening to the show that haven't been down right now, the current status of Stamp is Roy Rogers, Salad Works, Moby's Freestyle, Union Pizza.
How did they add the freestyle to that? It's so funny.
It just literally says on the sign outside, like, we'll whip up anything you want. Yeah, it's so bizarre. Panda Express, Qdoba,
Ooh.
Hibachi, and Chick-fil-A is the
Panda.
full and stamp and
It
Subway at Terp Zone.
it used to be Panda, Taco Bell, Chick-fil-A, all three next to each other. And
Yeah,
I would
with
bang,
and
bang,
then
bang,
they
like-
stuck in
Chick-fil-A
they
would be
stuck
so
in
swamped, and I love all three, and I'd just be like, well, I'm not gonna stand in this line. I would just get one of the other two.
they had Auntie Anne's in there as well for a little bit. They added that.
Oof.
I believe late of when I was in college, and that was in there for a while when I was out. And then it used to be Villa Pizza in the pizza spot. Now it's Union Pizza, and famously used to be McDonald's in the Roy Rogers spot. Now Roy Rogers.
Yeah.
So
There's some bar on the mix there early on.
a what? Oh, sorry, Sabaro, not
There
Villa.
was a
Sabaro.
Sbarro,
Excuse me.
was
It was Sabaro. It's Sabaro, not Villa. That's my mistake. It was Sabaro the whole time until I used to get like 2 slices. This is disgusting. I used to get 2 slices of pepperoni pizza and get their like Chipotle dip and just dip the slices into the. It was disgusting. It was so disgusting. Stamp. I love Stamp. My Nick Kinder Medley Maryland person of the week, kind of just building off of your guys, is just this like 2 to 3 week stretch of these, 65 to 75 degree high days are incredible. Like Saturday was such a nice day, like just being outside after I watched the Terps. We don't get a lot of this weather, and we've had some soccer games under the lights in this weather. Like the Sunday soccer game was just perfect soccer weather at Maryland. And I just love that weather. So it will go away soon enough here. But yeah. Any honorable mentions?
Oh, damn it. I just had one. And I forgot.
Homegirl for making chili.
Good move there.
Spotted Cal again. I went to a Wisconsin wedding. Before mentioned.
I'm gonna give it to Jim Cantori for not dying in Hurricane Ian.
Oh yeah,
What is-
Jimmy's out there.
What is
Let's
up?
go.
Jimmy, baby.
We
Lot of
gotta
game
stop
left,
putting these
but-
guys out in the middle of these hurricanes.
Can I make that was the popular thing to say on Twitter? Like, if those guys want to go out there and throw themselves in the mix, that's on them. If you're gonna work for the Weather Channel, I have no sympathy for Jim Cantori. If this is his brand, if he's gonna go out and be a storm hunter and stand out there and try not to.
Who Jim Cantori is if he doesn't do this shit.
Yeah.
But like, why
He's
are
just
we
a
still doing
psychopath.
it? We know that hurricanes are the wind is fast.
Oh,
And-
yeah.
Do we
raining.
do the 14-year-olds growing up on Jim Cantori seeing a big hurricane? By the way, this hurricane is insane.
How
I
often
mean,
are you gonna text me in the group
prayers to the-
chat saying, "Is anybody else watching Weather Channel right now?" Only when Jim Cantori is out
Only
there.
when Jim
grinding.
Cantori, and that's what I sent today. I sent you guys. I was like, "Is anyone we have a TV in our office in Maryland, and we had the Weather Channel on, and Jim Cantori is out there getting hit by tree branches, and I'm like, this is riveting television. I mean, him like coming back in, and the best part is like, you're just like, camera person, go out and help him, and the camera person just wiping off the lens, just so good,
The one today was
also, it's all the same people. It's Jim Cantori, Stephanie Abrams, and Mike Seidel. It's the same 3 people on the Weather Channel for 20 years. It's been these same people out there in the storms. It's like you just know them, and they pop up every couple of years when you get a big storm. You watch them at all the same places. They're at Cape Hatteras. They're at North Carolina. They're down on this. They're down on in Louisiana or Mississippi, or they're on the other side of Florida. And they're in all the same places, and they just do what they do. But this stuff is scary, man. I mean, prayers to all those people down there like that. I mean, that is the storm surge is insane. I mean, it's like some of the pictures from Katrina, like when the water was. But shout out to Jim Shout out to Jim for going down and reporting the news.
The best was that one clip, and he's trying to like catch his breath, or he's like, just give me a minute. And they just go, you hear them from the studio, like, hey, Jim, you okay? It's like, what do you?
Yeah, he's like, Jimmy, all right?
No, he's not okay. Why would you ask that question? Like, of
No, I'm
course,
not all right.
he's standing at 75-degree winds, and y'all are sitting in makeup in a studio. So very funny.
Yeah, so I got to shout out to Jim. That this is his moment. I mean, this is his moment, and I have to give Banks credit for this. He texted when I texted the Jim Cantori clip and said Jim Cantori is going to go out like the crocodile hunter, which is a very funny line.
Go out
and
on
killed
top.
by what he
Go
loves.
out on. He's going to go out a legend.
Yeah.
It will
Almost
not
like,
shock me.
Who were those the Vegas performers with the Lions?
Oh,
Is that Penn and Teller?
Penn and Teller, yeah, and the one got
No,
attacked.
Siegfried and Roy. Siegfried and Roy.
That's
Is
what
the
it
tiger.
was. Yep.
Siegfried and
Yep,
Roy.
yep.
Penn and Teller is the yeah.
The comedian
They
magician.
didn't
Yeah.
die, did they?
No, well, I think one of them
No,
did.
one of them. They.
One
I
of
don't
them
think
died
either
from
of them
COVID.
died.
I think he just got messed up.
I think by the tiger. I think he just got messed up.
Oh yeah, he didn't die by the tiger.
Yeah, it'd be like Fauci dying of COVID, same thing.
That's like that.
They're
Scream
both
stuff.
dead.
Are they both
What?
dead?
Yeah.
Breaking news. Breaking
Rip.
news. Wow.
One of them died
Oh.
January 13th, 2021,
This is
and the
too
other one
much for one
died
day.
February 8th, 2020.
Wow.
That's pre-COVID.
Wow. From
Let us be the
February
first.
1st, 1990 until Horn's career-ending injury on his birthday on October 3rd,
Oh,
2003, the duo formed Siegfried and Roy at the Mirage Resort and Casino, regarded as the most visited show in Las Vegas. Wow. Did not realize both of them were dead. That is just
Let
so
us be the
sad.
first to extend our condolences.
Yeah, Roy died of COVID. And Siegfried died of terminal pancreatic cancer.
Oh, God.
Jesus, man.
Jeez. Announced he had the cancer and died 2 days later. 81.
Yeah, that's how pancreatic cancer is.
That is so sad. Yeah, what
R.I.P.
is
Cool.
2003 tiger incident. 7-year-old white tiger named Manicore attacked Roy.
That was 20 years ago?
That was
almost?
2003.
Biting his sleeve, Roy swatted the
Oh.
tiger and barked release while standby trainers unsuccessfully attempted to distract the cat with cubes of meat. Possibly in sight of a harm's retreat, the tiger leapt at him, swinging his legs and knocking him off his feet. As trainers rushed in from on stage to assist, the tiger bit into Roy's neck and dragged him off stage. Oh my Lord in heaven. There has to be video of this somewhere, I would
I
assume.
think
Probably
there
you're
is.
watching RDT, you sicko. You
So-
probably watched it like 100 times.
You're the one talking about it.
Yeah.
You brought it
You're
up.
the one that showed us that kid dying on the amusement park ride. You're like, watch this video.
That's crazy.
So you're going to tell me, who do you think you are? I am happened 9 years after that happened.
Apparently. Severed his spine, massive blood clots, severely injured other parts of his body. Ugh.
Jesus.
All right. While being taken to the hospital, Roy stated, Manticore is a great cat. Make sure no harm comes to Manticore. What a hero.
Oh, they probably shot the shit out of that thing.
He told People magazine in September 2004, this is an insane quote, that Manticore saved his life by trying to drag him to safety after he had a stroke. I don't understand. He attacked the tiger. I mean, no disrespect to the tiger, but I mean, he attacked him. And maybe the Roy incited it. I mean, I don't want to speak for the tiger. I don't want to get anything from the tiger's lawyers, but bizarre. What a way to end it. I think that might be the end of the show.
Are we just gonna do like this dead celebrity at the end of every episode?
What a bookend. If you had told me both of them were dead, I would have said no. I would have said one of them was still alive.
Yeah.
I will go
People,
onto Wikipedia at some point, sit down, just get a whole list of them, go year by year as to who died in a given year, and I'll just pick out names and be surprised by them when I read them, and I'll jot them all down, and then every episode I will name drop somebody who died that you are going to be surprised by.
I like that.
I have to complete this. The duo staged a final appearance with that tiger in 2009.
Yeah.
Moment.
Tiger died in 2014.
Oh,
Rip.
like the other Detroit Tigers did. This is,
Oh God.
Here you go. People also ask when you Google Siegfried and Roy, what happened to the tiger that mauled Siegfried and Roy? Are Siegfried and Roy still together? What injuries did Roy Horn suffer? And are Siegfried and Roy buried together?
Tiger, they're all three.
You could make a case that maybe performing with lions and tigers is just not the smartest thing in the world to do.
I mean, it's we know how that story is going to end only one way.
Says the guy who just advocated for people chasing down hurricanes.
That's a fair point. But this is what I'm saying. I'm not saying what Cantori's doing is smart, but as Siegfried and Roy are Siegfried and Roy, Jim Cantori is Jim Cantori.
Right. That's what I
Put that on a t-shirt.
He also
No,
has a
definitely
residence
not.
in Vegas.
Definitely not smart to stand in 140 mile an hour gusts as things fly around you like a random parking garage in Fort Myers, Florida. I'm not promoting that as a thing that people should do. But if you're gonna be Jim Cantori, you have to be in that storm, which is why I didn't understand people on Twitter being like, "Why are we sending these reporters down here?" Like, that's Jim Cantori. He's about that life, bro. He is about that life, and he's got to get out there and show us. I will say the craziest. Yeah, he is. The craziest thing was like some of the GoPros people had put on like seeming like light posts or something with the storm surge. I mean, that is just, I mean, I would not want to, I mean, obviously it just sucks for those people.
Waste of a couple $100.
Well, no, I'm just saying like seeing that watching that and you've evacuated and you want to put those people with a house down there. I mean, oh.
Yeah.
Can you guys name the worst hurricane in Maryland in the last 20 years?
It's not Isabel, right? Isabella? Is that it?
I believe Isabel is the worst from a power outage standpoint in 2003. Me and my family were, and Sandy was also not great.
Sandy, yeah.
Michael?
But that was worse in New Jersey.
Yeah.
I think it's Isabel. I was going to say it's Isabel. That was not a question of the answer to. It was more rhetorical. But Isabel, me and my family were part of like the last 0.5% of people in the state to get power back. Lost it for 8 days.
I remember Sandy was like nothing for us. Remember, like New York was like flooding, and Sandy was like, it's a little rainy.
I was on Long Island the morning that Sandy hit, and I drove we played club baseball. We played Hofstra at like 9 a.m. on that Sunday, and then we just got out of Dodge. I went one way, and some of the other cars went a different way, where I like paid the $30 or $40 toll on the Brooklyn Bridge or some other bridge. Well, I don't know all the bridges and shit, but I got out like 45 minutes ahead of these other cars by taking this route, and they all got like slammed driving down the New Jersey Turnpike by Sandy, and I beat it. And I got home, and we went to the liquor store. We picked up Hurricanes. We played Hurricane Hands as opposed to Edward 40 Hands. It's a great time.
Just listen to Hurricane by Bob Dylan over and over.
Basically, yeah.
By the way, one last fun fact: Aaron Judge's home run would have been a home run in 29 of the 30 ballparks in the major leagues. What is the one?
It would have hit the wall.
It would have hit the wall. I love it. I love that. That's great.
What a joke. That's it for this week's episode of the X52 podcast. What a show. What a show. Siegfried and Roy, shout out to them. Oh, RDT's reacting. He may have something else.
I'm reading this. What do you think the name of the guy who missed catching Aaron Judge's home run ball is called? His name is. What do you think his name is? This is his real name, and he owns an Italian restaurant.
No clue.
If there was a children's cartoon and the man owned an Italian restaurant, what would his name be?
Mario Luigi. Mario Bertucci.
You're close. You're both very close.
Mario Ciparillo.
Frankie Lasagna. Frankie Lasagna. That's his name.
That's awesome.
That's unbelievable.
Frankie Lasagna.
Oh, Frankie Lasagna. That's amazing.
So good.
That's great. Sorry, I had to get that one last time.
No, that's fine. That's fine.
Right.
It's a great way to end the show. Follow us on our social media channels at Touch My 10 at Barstool Banks at EDITTI22. You can follow X52 podcast on all the old social media platforms. Make sure to give us, rate and review, subscribe, do all of those things. If you haven't, if you're listening to the show, make sure to give us a subscribe, throw in a 5-star review on Apple. That helps the show. And whatever podcast service, if they've got reviews and ratings, throw us one. Always very good. We always forget to remind people of that, but that's good for podcasts. That still helps. And support all of our sponsors. Jimmy's Seafood, who's got some awesome things in the works for the tailgate. Awesome things in the works. So make sure to keep your eyes on some of that stuff. Thread Level Midnight and Fed Throw, as we talked about during the draft. And we will see you next time. We'll see you for the instant analysis on Sunday on the X52 podcast presented by Jimmy's Seafood.